This is Joshua Hart from JTH Boxing, and today I'm delighted to be joined by the dangerous cruiserweight, Anis Taj. Anis, thank you for joining me today, and how are we doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me. And how are you?
I'm doing great. Honestly, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. And without further ado, no time wasting. We've already had to restart the call once because we might have went on a bit of a chat, but it's always good just to get to know each other. But yeah, my first thing I want to talk about is the first fight you had with Viddal Riley. Um, Obviously, while it wasn't to be, you did get stopped because of a cut. How did you feel that fight went for you, and how did you feel about your performance?
First round was shit. In To put it bluntly, I'm sorry for my French. I'm sorry, Dad. I swore. I'm sorry. No, it went bad, but it went good. A few rookie errors, a few things that I'd done wrong. Um, but I knew I'd be getting into it. It takes me in sparring. It takes me two rounds easy to get into a fight, into a spar. Sorry, a fight is much, it's a bigger thing than sparring. So if it takes me 2 rounds to get into a spar, it's going to take me 2, 3 rounds to get into the fight. So even, if we look in the second round, I've made slight adjustments. I've rocked him at the near the end of the round. Um, I was getting a little bit trigger happy, but that's because I knew I had the power to annoy him, to hurt him, and he wasn't comfortable. That's the thing, um, you know, and I know his team. They were shouting, "We only need the 1-2, keep him at distance." Everything they were shouting was to box. When I got cut in the third round, again I'm getting into it. I'm slipping his jabs, slipping his shots. I'm coming back with my big shots, a little bit wild, but they're working and they're effective. And I found my feet a little bit too far out at some points, a little bit too close at some points, but you know, this rematch, we're going to round one. It's not, it's round four. It's round four of the original fight. And I said I'm stopping him within six. So, you know, by round two of this fight, I'm going out there. I'm going to, being honest, even when I had the blood rushing into the eye, so there was times where I couldn't see out the eye at some bits, and I couldn't. When he got cleaned up, I was fine. So, I wanted another round or two to go on. Doctor, he wanted to poke and prod it, which he was called to look at it. He shouldn't have been touching it and pulling it apart because the cut was dealt with quite well by the corner team. So I've got that irked me, but we're going to this fight and he's not got the power to affect me. He's not got the power to um, stun me. He's landing right hands at will, like people are saying, pinging my head back all night. Yeah, all good. But if I'm walking forward and your power doesn't affect me, yeah, you're gassing out like he was, there's an issue. So come rematch, I'm gonna walk him down and I'm gonna take him out. Forget about trying to break him down. I'm gonna walk straight down like a train, walk into him and just punish him, take him out by the second round. That's what I'm aiming for.
And what was your initial reaction when you got the phone call from your manager saying you've got the rematch with Vidal?
To be fair, it weren't even okay. Going back to it to immediately post fight, I said straight away, I want to fight him again. I want. I felt hard done by. It was a bit of a controversial stoppage because the cut was cleaned up. I understand, the referee, he done his job. The doctor shouldn't have touched it, but he was looking at it. Okay, fine. Saving me from further damage. All right, all good and well. But at the same point, if it's cleaned up nicely, you got to still give me that chance. If it gets bad, as we see in other fights, if it gets bad halfway through the round, call the doctor up a minute in. A bit like Joe Joyce. They called the doctor up at the beginning of the round. Doctor said, yeah, you carry on, whatnot. And then halfway through the round, the doctor come back up. So you could have done something like that to give me the benefit of the doubt and see if the tide was turning because it was. At the end of that third round, he's gone back to the corner and sucked up so much air. So as soon as my manager called me and said, look, I've got you a fight for the 10th. And I was like, but there was a backstory. Don't want to go into too much detail. I was on the show fighting someone else. Off the show, got onto another show, and then finally he was like, "Yeah." I go, "Oh, with the same person." He goes, "No, no, no. I got you the rematch." I was like, "Wait, what?" A little bit like, but there was a few other things that they've said, and he needs to get himself into contention for a title for a rematch, stuff like this. They're doing, they're talking the most, and you know, fair play to them. They think they want to get happy on beating me through a doctor's stoppage. Fine. He's talking about he's going to knock me out, all of this. Now he gets his chance. That's what I feel. I spoke to my coach when I got the call. I said, Kieran, what do you think? Our plan wasn't to have a big fight as our first fight together, but having the rematch in a very winnable fight. It's not a fight that I'm going in thinking, again, I'm overmatched, or it's a fight that I'm just losing. I'm in there to win it, and is a very, especially after the first fight, is a very high chance of me actually beating him. So he would have made adjustments. I'm not really making adjustments. I'm going to walk him down and take him out.
And you mentioned that you're with a new team now. So you've got a lot of new faces around you. How is preparation going ahead of June 10th?
Oh, it's good. My coach, me and him, we're working on our plan, and you know, I've said to him what I feel. He asked me straight up, "Did any of the shots hurt you? Whatnot? Were you stunned at any point? Were you?" Because he goes, "You didn't see it, but I might as well ask you. Your legs didn't buckle." I go, "I was fine. I was taking the shots, eating them, all good and well." Um, so we're working on the plan, but it's essentially walking down. So um, we've got a few little things up our sleeve that we're working on, little shots, little moves, stuff like that. But it's essentially, like I said, walking him down and taking him out. But we've got the same strength and conditioning coach. He's the only person that's actually the same from previous camp to this, because the work he's done with me over the last 2 years has improved my fit. At one point I struggled doing 6 rounds when I first started with him in sparring. And then now I'm doing 10, 12 rounds in sparring. You know, Definitely an 8 round fighter. I don't want to go back to 6 rounders. So, you know, it was a it's a good adjustment, but it was a needed adjustment having a coach. And he's got his game plans. We've spoken about a few different variables of what might happen on fight night and what we're going to do to adjust and how. So, I'm looking forward to it.
My next question, which you kind of already pretty much answered. So what I've got wrote
I
down
talked to.
is what I had wrote down was without giving away a game plan, how can we expect June 10th to go when you face Vidal for the second time? But you kind of already
Oh,
said
knock him
you're going to
out.
walk him down. Wait, can
Yeah,
you
I,
repeat that?
it's obviously, like, I'm not going to say the game plan as to how I'm going to walk him down and what adjustments we're making or not making, but it's essential. Walk him down. His power doesn't affect me. He's over in America with a new coach, and his coach, this new guy, his old man, whoever the hell's training him, I don't really care. Um, Whether they've got him fitter, God help them, they need it. They can't have made his chin any stronger, unless they've been battering him with big right hands. But I hit hard, so unless they made his chin stronger or his punches stronger, whatever they do, whatever little cute tactics they've got, is not going to work.
And so you're predicting, did you say a second round knockout
Yeah, knockout by the second round.
by a second round? Anise, thank you for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, both talking with you on camera and off camera. And I do wish you the best of luck going into the rematch. Thank
Thank you.
you.